Yo,
Yo,
Mark, you're gonna
are we live?
do your.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I didn't have an on-air button or
Oh,
whatever.
Still
So we're
says
live.
off air.
no,
There we
we're
go.
Oh,
We're
we're
hey,
live.
we're
boom.
live.
Welcome to Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable Discussion number 23, where we're minor celebertarians gone wild.
Woo!
It's
Woo!
really
Woo!
too bad
Go
none of
out,
y'all can
fuckers.
see the pre-show.
Yeah, for real. It only gets better from
Tonight
here,
we have a
folks.
full house. We've got Dan Hoder back, despite his
Yay!
disappearance from a popular Jew-run social media platform. He is indeed alive.
I am still alive. Indeed.
It rhymes with fucked.
I was digitally murdered for my thought crimes.
That's right.
The thought crime police are here, and they're watching, watching you, watching me. That guy beside
They're gonna need some eye bleach
Erica.
if they're watching me.
Yeah,
It
with our favorite Fed,
in a way,
lovely Derica, and Jason and me, Mark. I'm back 2 weeks in a row. I haven't passed out on a Sunday night.
Nice.
Woohoo!
We're going to talk about all kinds of funny shit tonight, and probably some Christmas carols too. So stick around and wait for those. They'll be at the end. So
It's too bad that we didn't have a show last week because Mark was at our house last week.
I was. It was fantastic.
Yeah. He was helping us move in. That's a true fucking friend right there.
I was
Nice.
fed well and used like a rented mule.
Yeah, but I fed you.
Well, that's what I said. I was well fed.
That's right. Oatmeal pancakes and everything.
That's
Nice.
right. Coffee going 24/7. It was fantastic.
It's all right, Mark. We know it's not the first time you had a whip.
Yeah.
Don't we
Yeah,
all?
mule.
In reality, don't we all?
That's right. Story of my life.
We're already slaves. We might as well try to enjoy it.
Hey, as long as it's voluntary, right?
That's for sure. Consent is key.
Oh,
Our show is covered by no government license. If you want to know more about that, check out bipcot.org. Or don't. We don't fucking care.
Really don't.
use this however you fucking want. God damn it.
Exactly.
We'll say all 7 of the cuss words on the air. We don't give a fuck.
That's right.
Hey, before we move on with the show, are cock pumps a worthy investment? Just curious.
I don't know. You'd have to ask Austin Powers about that.
Asking for a friend. No, I understand that using weights are much better.
Oh my god. We could hook Kevin up to the total gym that we've got right over here in their gym room. You know?
Just tuck it in one end of the treadmill and hit go.
Just hook him up to the vacuum. Make him pull it around.
The real trick.
God, that treadmill.
The real trick is that you got to hang a towel off of it and do Kegel exercises.
Yeah, the treadmill was an asshole.
It was. Seriously. If Mark ever were going to tell me, go fuck yourself, I'm not your friend anymore, that would have been the moment where he said it. When they were trying to get that fucking treadmill down the stairs.
It was one of those big ass Lance Armstrong, Livestrong fucking treadmills.
Yeah.
We had to take that shit apart.
Oh, man.
And then we couldn't find where the fucking wire harness disconnected from the fucking motor.
Jesus.
We're like, fuck it, just keep taking shit off. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out later.
They're like standing around it at the top of the stairs, like scratching their fucking heads. I mean, they were there for probably a good hour trying to figure out how to get that fucking thing down the stairs.
Oh, dude, I've moved so many times in my life. It's such a fucking pain in my balls. I hate it.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But I mean, of all the times that we've moved, a lot of them were military moves, and the
Yeah.
military
Yep.
like pays for everything. They have the movers come and pack your shit up,
Yep.
take it to the new destination, and unpack the shit and put all your furniture together.
Yeah.
You know,
That's fucking sweet. I don't think I've ever had any move go like that. It was all done by me and other people.
Trash bag and a
cars and trucks, and
Exactly, dude.
one load at a time from place to place.
Oh, it's the
Shit,
fucking worst.
Always, every time, some shit went missing and some shit broke.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last time that the military moved us, our whole box of grown-up toys and movies went fucking suspiciously missing.
Oh man.
Right, missing.
You know what I'm saying? Those fuckers stole our shit.
Those ended up in the local barrack.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, these are contractors. You know, the movers are always contractors.
Oh.
So. But still. God damn it. We had to rebuild our collection and all that shit.
It happened for a reason.
Yeah. We have better stuff now anyway.
Exactly.
Yep. When you can buy those things with Bitcoin, then I'll be impressed.
Right? Right.
Oh, I'm sure this.
You could give me Bitcoin and I'll buy them with fiat notes and give them to you.
Whatever works,
I should
right?
do that. I'm like a Bitcoin clearinghouse. You want to buy shit with your Bitcoin? I'll buy the shit for you and you give me the Bitcoin for it.
A Bitcoin mystery shopper.
It
Yeah.
kind of sounds like the Clinton Foundation.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah, except I'm not trafficking children out of Haiti, you know.
You got a point there.
Just
You got a point there.
small difference.
that's true. And you haven't suicided anybody.
Right.
Oh, did you hear about
Right.
that doctor that like
Yeah.
mysteriously like
Yeah, you might be on something with that, you know.
What, suiciding your people and trafficking children out of Haiti?
No, taking fucking Bitcoin and buying shit from places that don't accept Bitcoin.
Oh, for people to be
Yeah.
able to use their
And you
Bitcoin.
just charge a surcharge.
Yeah. I didn't have
I wonder
to charge a
if
certain,
people would go for that now.
just exchanging Bitcoin for the
Probably.
stuff they want. I'll take the Bitcoin.
I'm
'cause
just
it's
saying, with as expensive
appreciated.
as it is, I think most people are hanging on to it.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
there's also
that
there's
and
also
voting
online retailers that are starting to take Bitcoin, like Overstock.com,
Right.
and there's also a wallet now that can convert Bitcoin into FRNs to use on Amazon.
Cool.
Huh.
So
I need to stay away from that one. Otherwise, I'll spend all my fucking Bitcoin.
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah. That's true.
It's just monies.
Oh, but you had like $80 worth of Bitcoin. How much is it worth now?
Like $850.
Holy fuck!
Yeah. In the last 6 months.
that's a lot of adult toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Well,
Wait.
no,
that's free.
it's just one if you buy the right one.
Exactly.
Quite.
You got a hot tub. You
What
got a
a
hot tub with a
fucking
special
bucket
jet.
for a
You don't need
Sybian.
anything else.
Yeah.
How much does a swing cost?
Oh, forget swings. We're talking like Sybians, okay?
Yeah, Sybians are 900. Regulars are like 600.
Right?
funny story. I'll tell you later, Jericho.
Is it too spicy for the Anarchy Among Friends roundtable discussion?
No.
No.
They
It might be. It might be.
They
We
are
still- We still are on YouTube, and they will strike us if we go too far.
Oh.
What's too far though? Like I think we've gone too far. Many.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Well,
not really a
it's-
line that we haven't charged straight across, I think.
You know, I'm not sure that they really give a fuck as long as you're not trying to be monetized. They demonetized all my shit.
Oh yeah.
All for no fucking reason.
Mhm.
You know?
It's like
I
a form
never
of
saw
censorship, really.
Monetization on
Yeah.
this, so it didn't get taken down.
Right. Yeah.
We don't need to make money
And
doing
you
this.
know
We're
what?
here for the fun anyway.
Exactly.
That's
That's right.
and our high tech equipment.
Yep.
We're here for group therapy, and you all just get to come along for the ride with us.
You can't monetize political speech unless it's fucking Marxist or progressive
Right.
speech.
Exactly.
Yep.
Those fuckers.
Stay suffer the consequences. Toe the line.
Bastards. Bastard-coded bastards with gooey bastard sinners.
Actually, while we're talking about them, not to talk about them necessarily, the left, quote unquote left. It's pretty much like whoever's left of fucking like Lenin anymore. But I guess up in Canada they passed a bill called C-16, I believe, and it's like I want to say it's like a transgender rights, but it's kind of written like very openly, like, you know, vague in terms of like who it can apply to, in terms of like discrimination and things.
Oh,
so anyway,
yeah. I know what you're talking
this girl, she's like, I don't know, 22 years old or something. She was a grad student and she was doing a communications class or whatever, and to show like, you know, alternate sides of like, you know, the transgender debate, she showed a program from, I don't know, some program on Canadian broadcasting. It wasn't anything that was like, you know, crazy out of line or anything, right? So she shows this, and it's got the one professor, I think he's from like professor of Toronto, College of Toronto or whatever, University of Toronto, Jordan Peterson, and he like, he doesn't say that like he won't like, given and like, just, be like, call somebody by their whatever preferred pronoun they have, right? But that's what like this bill's about. It's about the whole preferred pronoun thing, and like they can fucking bring you up on like a hate crime for using the wrong pronoun, essentially, right?
Wow.
So this chick showed like opposing sides on this debate, and because she showed an opposing side of the debate that doesn't align with the leftist view of the whole transgender debate and like the whole postmodernist view of reality, where everything is debatable and everything is fucking subjective and there is no objective reality and everybody gets to be whatever the fuck they want. You know what I mean? That's like the theory that the left goes by. So anybody that opposes that is like automatically fucking Hitler. And so
Right.
this girl gets in trouble for showing the class this as like, the teacher's like assistant or whatever. She gets in trouble. She gets brought before like three people in the that are like professors or whatever within the college. And the one woman, like, her job is specifically for diversity and like transgender and like all this like, snowflake bullshit, right? So they like bring her in front of like a 3-person tribunal. She ends up recording the whole interaction, and they essentially said that like Jordan Peterson is like, essentially Hitler because of his views on things, and thinks that like, he's like a biological essentialist is what the leftists call him, because you're saying that, well, there's only 2 genders, like, based on chromosomes, there's really only 2 genders. And like, because you believe that objective reality, you're a fucking heretic. You know what I mean?
That's retarded, man. It's like,
it's so ridiculous. It's like,
not
how do you
only-
debate these people?
Not only is it entirely ridiculous, but it's entirely hypocritical, because these people talk about tolerance, right, and accepting all no matter what. But the moment you disagree with them, you are literally Hitler, and they're ready to put you up in front of a firing squad, but they don't believe in guns, so they can't fucking shoot you.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
but they'll just have the state do it. They'll have the state do it for them.
No, they believe in guns. They do.
Crystal, Natalie's watching. Hi, Crystal.
Woo!
They believe in guns. They just believe that certain people with certain costumes and certain badges are the only ones who should have those guns.
Yeah,
but that's another conundrum right there, because they fucking hate the police.
Badges give you special rights.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
think about that. But think about that cognitive dissonance right there, right?
I know.
Like, they want the state to have the guns, but they fucking hate the people that have the guns that operate on behalf of the state.
Right.
Like,
I know.
Hello.
I know. It's insane.
It's
You
retarded.
can't accept reality.
Well, that's the whole thing. Their minds are so fragmented and fucked through the university, like indoctrinating them, that they can't even like make sense of what's real anymore.
I know. I honestly, I
And
don't.
it's sad.
I don't know why anybody still sends their kids to college.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, unless
It's
they're going for
ridiculous.
like a technical trade, like, you know, they're going for nursing or they're going for like automotive or like, you know, some shit that's like really has like an applicable,
Right,
you know.
medical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, fuck all that gender
That's-
studies and, you know,
Right.
like all
Yeah,
that
that's-
bullshit.
That's what I worry about with my kids, because my kids will be 18 here in February,
Yeah.
and they'll be starting college in the fall. But there is no technical school for my daughter. My daughter wants to be a teacher,
Right.
and she's not a snowflake. Like they toured the local college, and she sent me text after text after text, laughing that they have a safe space.
Yeah.
Like no, she sent like a picture. Oh my god, Dad, they have a safe space, and was laughing at it. Which I can't tell you how stoked I was on that. But
yeah, right. You have a level-headed
kids-
child, thank God.
Try to like armor them with reason.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, build them up over the years to reason, to think critically, and you know, try to armor them against the fucking pure insanity of this world.
But the crazy thing is that like even if you do that now, like anybody that's to the right of fucking, you know, Stalin or Lenin is a fucking scumbag now. Like, you know what I mean? Like in these people's eyes. I mean, there's still reasonable people on the left that understand, and they're like, you know, they're like there because they're anti-war and shit like that.
Right.
You know, like they're kind of mixed in their views, but they're not like crazy progressive. Like, I mean, progressives are really they're the modern day Bolsheviks in my eyes. You know, they're communists straight up, but just by a different, you know, banner, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I know. And these days, if you're sending your kid to college, tell them to just fucking lie, to just agree and spout the shit that their fucking professors want to hear.
Yeah, my daughter and I had a real good conversation about that, and they did a homeschool program. They are doing a homeschool program that it's put out by BYU, Brigham Young University, and it is a little left leaning. And my daughter will send me pictures from her history books, from her English books and whatnot. Look at this. Can you believe that they actually wrote this bull crap? Like my daughter cusses to me. What's that? What's that, Mark?
Where did you say it was from?
BYU, Brigham Young University.
That's Mormon land.
That's what I was gonna say. Utah.
I'm surprised that it's left leaning. I mean, they're pretty.
Oh, it's very left leaning. But she'll point it out to me and be like, "Oh, can you believe this?" Blah 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 blah. And we've had a real heart to heart about it, about how the schooling is and how there's an agenda to it, and how they don't want you to be educated, they want you to be indoctrinated. And I've had her read John Taylor Gatto's "Dumbing Us Down."
Yep.
Right.
And so she knows what's up. She knows that you got to go along to get along in their system. And then she has her own beliefs. Like she knows what she wants to do, what she believes, and she also knows that unfortunately she has to play their game in order to get her degree so that she could go teach.
Well, the sad thing is that the sad thing is that their game is so fucking absurd that like there's no winning at their game.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like, how do you play by a game that's like their rules are just like, okay, they can fucking change them whenever they want to suit their needs.
Right.
It's like a malleable fucking substance that they can just like. You know.
What it is it's fucking hatred. These people are full of hatred, and they try to intellectualize it. They try to come up with ways that they can hate other people and have it seem like they have a good reason for it.
Yeah.
And that's all this is these people are just hateful fucking assholes.
They're taking very emotional positions and very emotional responses to a very logical situation.
Yeah,
that's what it is, in my opinion. These people, they're not acting with logic; they're acting with emotion.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the left is always played on the heartstrings of the public. You know what I mean? That's like kind of their thing. Like they're more of the emotive end of the political spectrum, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
You know, because Marx even played to like the downtrodden and like, you know, their sentiment for revolution because they were, you know, fucking oppressed by the, you know, the factory owner or whatever the case might be. And they're always able to feed on that resentment within the public. It's always there because they're always fucking kept under thumb by people that are banksters, not the fucking factory owners. You know what I mean? But
and governments.
And they never get that far. You know what I mean? It's like they hate the manager of the fucking company because they don't do anything. You know what I mean? It's like, quote unquote, don't do anything. Like I've had conversations with literal communists before, and it's like makes my fucking head hurt.
I know. And they're like, why should I work to make the owner richer when they don't do any work? I was like, and I'm thinking, have you ever fucking started a business? Do you have any idea how much work owners put in starting businesses and keeping them running? You think they don't do any work. They are there 3 hours before you every day, and they are still there 3 hours after you fucking leave. You just don't know it because they're in their office.
They're the motherfucker who makes the one make the whole shit fucking run. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, there's people that have their own
fucking risk.
Yeah.
They put all their own assets on the line to take the fucking risk to make it happen. Jesus. They don't do any fucking work. Get out of here.
But at the same time, if you do have good, loyal workers, like hard workers, I think that they should be taken care of. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like it's a reciprocation kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like you're
right, but that shouldn't be done at a point of a gun.
No.
That's the difference. That's the difference between a good, positive company that people want to work for.
Exactly.
And a company that is just a piece of shit company that's just struggling by, like Walmart.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because you know what? There is a cost to treating your employees like shit, and savvy business owners know this. There's a huge cost. Turnover is fucking expensive.
Oh yeah.
It really is. Having to keep training new people, and then efficiency goes down because you got assholes that don't know what they're doing, you know, running your equipment or whatever, and people who don't know customer service or aren't good at customer service, and you know, there's a cost over time. It's like death by 1,000 fucking paper cuts to treat your employees like shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, and without government intervention and without governments forcing these shitty business owners to be just good enough to get by, these businesses would fucking fail. They would fail. Free market would kill them. Better business owners.
I think a lot of the problem is that you have just like government. When you become too centralized, say as a corporation or a fucking government model or anything like that, you become too detached from reality, and you don't have connection with the people on the ground that are actually fucking doing the groundwork for the operation, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like my example of this, my analogy of this or whatever would be that, like, you know, compare like some guy that owns a construction company, and he's got a crew of guys that he takes care of and, like, you know, gives them good benefits and good pay and whatnot because they've been there for him for a while and they're dependable. He knows they're going to work their ass off, whatever, and they're going to get jobs knocked out and he's going to make money. So he's more connected directly with his people. And, like, you know, he's got a better relationship with them, whatever, as opposed to the guy that's the CEO of fucking Walmart that's completely detached from, like, these, you know, whatever, thousands or millions of fucking workers that they have, where they have absolutely no personal connection with these people and they just view them as individual units.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not even like they view them as human beings. It's just like they're just the cattle to get the job done kind of thing. Because it's like the further you get out, the more they look like ants, so to speak.
Right.
Crystal makes a good point. She says if they actually started a business, they wouldn't be communists at all.
Exactly.
Because nobody starts a business with the intention of not making money.
But my whole
No, they
argument,
tried. Remember the communist restaurant that
The
opened
restaurant,
up?
yeah, the restaurant that lasted like 3 months and failed because nobody wanted to show
Yeah.
up to work.
Yeah.
the fucking irony.
Where was it at?
Yeah.
It was in
Seattle.
I was going to say, I knew it was in the
course.
Pacific Northwest.
Of
It
course.
was in Seattle. Well, Seattle or
Yeah,
Portland.
it
It was
was
one or the other.
it was a communist restaurant essentially. Like
Yeah.
and they
They
God,
only
what was
sold
it?
vegan food too, apparently. I think.
Right.
You know,
right.
I always
and they ended up what was it? Something with the prices where they started out with pay what you can pay, and then nobody was fucking paying, and then they had to like hike prices way above any other local restaurant.
Oh shit! No, it was in Grand Rapids.
Michigan.
I thought
Yeah.
it was somewhere in the Midwest.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, and
That's
then
fantastic.
and then
That's
nobody
hilarious.
was showing up for work and shit like that. And it was so fucking funny. Oh my god. They're not M&Ms, honey. They're Skittles, and they're upstairs on the counter.
It's the Declavore.
It's the Declavore. Say hi to everybody.
Hi,
What's
Declan.
up, buddy?
Hi, Declan.
He's feeling shy.
All right. It
What's
says
up,
that,
bud?
All right. Go upstairs.
several years ago, the restaurant's founder, Ryan Cappelletti, told a local news outlet why he chose a communist-inspired business model for his restaurant. And I quote, because of our economy, people are working 12 to 15-hour shifts. Servers take home $200 to $300 a night in tips. The cooks are making $10 an hour, and the owner takes whatever he takes. We're going to have equal pay and equal say across the board, everyone working together. The restaurant had no bosses, and decisions were made collectively by the staff. The workers decided when to open and close, leading to a highly irregular hours. Customers might come to the establishment to eat only to find it closed. All the workers were paid a living wage, meaning relatively unskilled workers would earn just as much as workers with more skills. Moreover, customers were not allowed to tip, meaning there was really no way for workers to be rewarded for exceptional service or work. Not surprisingly, this meant the restaurant experienced higher costs and lower revenues. Patrons often complain not just about the hours, but the sometimes 40-minute wait to receive a sandwich.
Dude, that sums up my argument against communism right there. Fucking, if you give everybody the same amount of everything, nobody has any like they have nothing to strive for.
There's no incentives.
You know what I mean? It's like mediocrity, and it's like fucking you
What
just
the
kind of
fuck
like.
made them think that this would have any success at all? That's just boggles my mind.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, you talk to a person that claims to be communist.
Potatoes gonna potate.
Yeah, dude, and they're pretty fucking retarded. Even even the ones that are intellectuals.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. It really does.
Yeah.
I assume you're still talking about commies, so I concur.
Of course.
Jason was just reading the article about the restaurant.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of stupid, I got a really good one I want to read while Kevin's still here. I want to see Kevin's face when I read this. Florida bill would make it a crime to be a victim of auto theft.
Isn't it already, dude? What the fuck?
Florida state rep.
Let's make drugs illegal while we're at it too.
Florida bill would make it a crime. Yeah.
Like what the fuck, dude?
Florida bill would make it a crime to be the victim of auto theft.
Oh wait, all right. I see what you're saying.
A crime to
now.
be a victim of auto theft?
Yes.
What the fuck is that? That doesn't even make any sense.
Florida state rep Wingay Newton, Democrat out of St. Petersburg, is so tough on auto theft that he wants to punish the crime's victims as well.
What the fuck?
Newton has introduced a bill that would make it a criminal offense to have your car stolen if you leave it unlocked with the keys inside. His legislation would make this a second-degree misdemeanor. Violators would face fines of up to $500 and jail time of up to 60 days. But
That's fucking crazy.
Wait, no, okay, no. But only if the person who steals the car is a minor. Having the same unlocked car stolen by an adult would not be a criminal offense.
What, because you're contributing to the delinquency of a minor by...
Okay, quote, we have a lot of juveniles getting access to vehicles unlawfully. However, these juveniles are not using guns or force. These vehicles are pretty much just left with the keys running in them, Newton told WTSP. He claims the bill would, quote, close this floodgate of a crime of opportunity.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait,
this is where it gets kids not to take shit that doesn't fucking belong to them.
Yeah.
This is where it gets better.
Exactly.
Leaving one's car unlocked can already lead to a citation in Florida. But a Tampa Bay Times analysis found that these are rarely issued. Quote, okay, and not surprisingly, this proposal has prompted some pushback from people who say it's unfair to crime victims. This includes a number of law enforcement officers. Okay, so what this bill would do is eliminate Darwinism, like property ownership Darwinism. If you are dumb enough to leave your keys in your unlocked vehicle and it gets stolen, if it's an adult, it's okay. It's okay. It's completely okay. But if it's a minor that steals your car, then you could get in trouble for it.
But hold on. Why does dumb come into it? If it's my fucking car, if I wanted to leave it sitting with the doors open, running with the keys in it, that's my fucking business. Nobody else should touch it.
Yes.
Not their property.
Exactly. It's nothing about being dumb.
Yeah, you don't have to know whose property it is. You just have to know that it ain't fucking yours.
Well, it's adding like insult to injury, really.
Seriously.
It's like there's too many lifeguards in the gene pool. Number one, let's just put that out there.
Like here, when I go to the Wawa or the Sheets, sometimes I'll pull up and leave my fucking car running with the keys in it, and I'll run in and grab a coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah. Personally, I have no issue with it. Right? It's your car. If you want to leave your car unlocked with the keys in it, it's not my business to say anything.
Right, but if somebody steals it, that's still a criminal act. They took something that didn't fucking belong to them. It doesn't matter if they had easy access to it.
Yes, absolutely. But with this bill, you would also be the criminal because you left it with the keys in it.
That's ridiculous.
That's like above and beyond personal responsibility, because I mean, like taking on the personal responsibility of like having your shit stolen because you were a little sloppy or whatever. That's on you. But when
Florida
the state
made it into the state legislature.
this is okay. To put this in equivalency, guys. This is like somebody walking into your shed and stealing your lawnmower, and you getting in trouble because you didn't have a lock on your shed.
Exactly.
Right. It's the exact same thing.
It's fucking retarded.
Hey, that's not the same guy who fucking thought Guam was going to capsize, was it?
I hope not. I seriously.
I heard about that, dude.
I think
people
he
are
was a
amazing.
rep from Mississippi or some shit like that.
No, I actually watched the video. Did you watch the video of that?
No.
Oh,
I didn't believe it.
It's like
I didn't believe the I didn't believe the articles. I had to go watch the video to see it coming out of the guy's mouth.
Yeah,
and he was dead fucking serious.
How can you not believe this shit anymore?
Being sent to Guam was gonna fucking capsize the goddamn island. These are your representatives, America.
Yeah, and
Jesus fucking Christ, how stupid are you?
He was asking these questions of a 4-star admiral. And the admiral was sitting there like, what the fuck?
Gotta hand it to that guy. He kept a straight face.
He was thinking this guy's dumber than fucking shit.
In the back of that admiral's mind, he's going, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! I take shit smarter than this guy."
Right? Seriously.
Holy fuck, dude.
So yes, you can be both the victim
and this is exactly
and the criminal.
Holy shit!
If your car is stolen in Florida now,
This is
or
what
could
I mean
be
when I say,
if the bill passed.
yeah. I see. I don't know, because even if it does pass, I have a hard time believing that cops are. Because I mean, like same shit that happened around here with the SAFE Act. Like the sheriff in our county said that he wasn't going to enforce that law because it was ridiculous. It was an unconstitutional law and it was a violation of people's Second Amendment right. But you have some police that do go along with shit like that. But at the same time, who knows who's going to enforce it and whatnot? Depending on county to county.
Yep. I swear, like there's this really good meme. I share it all the freaking time, all the time, and to paraphrase it, like it says something to the effect of, I hate when people say I'm just doing my job. Because if you weren't just doing your job, if you had your conscience and you actually said no, politicians and government would be nothing but a bunch of people writing words on pieces of paper, circle jerking each other, thinking about stealing your freedoms.
Yep.
Without police enforcing bullshit laws,
yeah,
government would not be anything like it is.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's kind of why they that whole incident blew my mind, because that was right after Sandy Hook happened, and then they passed that law, and he came out and did a press conference and said, this is bullshit. I'm not going to enforce this fucking law. Like, you can kiss my ass, pretty much, because they're constitutionally voted in, like the head sheriff and shit.
Yeah, it's the same in Oregon when Brown signed her bills. Like 17 different county sheriffs or something like that came out and said, "No, fuck you guys, we're not enforcing that crap."
And that's what they should do. They have the right to do it.
Speaking of bullshit laws, I have a point of interest from across the pond. I came across this on Facebook, on a Facebook post from a friend of mine that lives in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And she took a picture of a letter that the government sent her over in Britain. Like, it was like a nasty gram letter. We're giving you 10 days to come into compliance letter, because she doesn't have a license to have a TV in her home.
Oh, yeah,
she hasn't had a TV in her home for over a decade.
They're ridiculous.
But in Britain, you have to have a fucking license.
Yeah, dude.
From the government
to
have a TV in your home.
Yeah.
And, in the thread, there's other people from around the UK chiming in, talking about how these assholes have actually come into their home to verify that they do not have a TV because they don't have a TV license.
Yeah.
What in the fuck?
Yeah,
what
dude,
the
Britain.
Fuck, Britain? Good God.
Britain's like the ultimate nanny state.
That's a fucked up country.
These are the same people that have a safe surrender for your knives. Like,
yeah,
you have to show ID in order to buy a kitchen knife.
Yeah, it's crazy,
hey,
dude.
did you see that one going around about a gun buyback program where they were like paying people $100 per gun? The cops were. Some dude went out and spent like $20 and built 4 homemade shotguns.
Yeah, that was in
the buyback program and got $400 for it.
That was in Southern California. That was what the hell's his name? The guy that used to run the Facebook page Guntraband. Dimitri Karas.
Yeah.
Dimitri Karas and his crew, they're the ones that did it.
Nice.
Okay.
He's also the one. Dimitri also sued the San Diego County Sheriff for violating his free speech because the sheriff banned him from the Sheriff County's official Facebook page. Like, it was the official county sheriff Facebook page. Right. Demetrius got banned from it and then sued them and won under free speech. They had to pay all his legal bills, and he got $20 out of the deal, and then spent the money on. I think he donated the money to some gun program.
Huh.
Yeah,
nice.
That's awesome.
To bring it back to Britain for a minute, I went a few years ago. I went to this cyber law symposium at Georgetown University, and the fucking lawyers in there that were talking at the symposium.
He's totally not a fag, you guys.
They were talking about the cyber laws in Britain, that the Parliament had actually granted authority to this fucking this group of ex-police officers to monitor what the citizens of their country actually had access to through the internet. So they run this like fucking this essentially a black fucking program that filters the internet to their fucking citizens. And their citizens don't even know about it. So
it's like the internet, the Gestapo.
To the internet, they only have access to what this fucking group that Parliament authorized says they can have access to, and the fucking people don't even know it.
Wow.
They don't even know they're being censored and blocked.
Gotta love bureaucracy.
That fucking crazy? They were saying that Saudi Arabia is freer than fucking Great Britain when it comes to fucking.
And I absolutely believe it. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's sad because I have a lot of
from over there that's watching this by chance or probably think that I'm full of shit, but I'm not.
I believe you.
Aren't you glad we only have like the NDAA and the Patriot Act and the Freedom Act and?
You should go over there and show them how to vote.
Right. Can we get a moment of silence for net neutrality, though?
They were saying that.
I know it's
like if a Saudi went to a fucking site that was blocked, it will come up and say this site has been blocked by the fucking government of Saudi Arabia. That doesn't even happen in Britain. You don't even know that you've been blocked, so you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
That's scary as shit, man. And people defend that. They will blindly defend that. Not because they don't know any better, but because they're just complete fucking morons that actually think the government knows what they're doing.
Right. Or that the government has their best interest at heart.
Which is never the case.
Government's fucking retarded.
Yeah, but
eloquently put, my man.
All right, this is government retardation for you right here, you guys. Congress will stop using taxpayer dollars to pay sexual harassment claims.
It's about time.
Thank you.
I heard like 40 of them. I'm sure it's probably more, but I think there was like 40 of them that were like at least had like charges against them or like claims against them or suits against them or whatever the fuck.
Why were taxpayers paying those claims anyways?
Well, especially now since it's open season, they're all going to get fucking blamed for something.
They should start carrying sexual harassment liability insurance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. House Speaker Paul Ryan, boo, said Wednesday that Congress plans to stop using taxpayer dollars to settle sexual harassment cases against lawmakers.
Okay, good.
On Wisconsin's WISN Radio's The Jay Weber Show, Ryan said that congressional committees are currently working on a, quote, wholesale reform package for sexual misconduct procedures. When asked whether Congress should would stop using taxpayer dollars to settle these cases, Ryan replied, yes, that is among the things we are working on right now.
Yeah, they could redirect the funds from that fucking account to hire more interns.
In recent weeks, let's see. In recent weeks, 3 lawmakers have resigned over sexual misconduct allegations. Senator Al Franken, Democrat, Minnesota; John Croyles Jr., Democrat, out of Michigan; Trent Franks, Republican, out of Arizona. Conyers' accuser was paid nearly $30,000 settlement using tax dollars. Reports of other taxpayer-funded settlements have emerged, including an $84,000 settlement paid to settle a claim by a former staffer of Blake Fairhold, Republican, out of Texas.
Well, see, if taxpayer money isn't being used for it, where's the money going to come from?
That was my thought too. Like when I posted this
themselves.
I posted this on Wolf earlier, and I was like,
paychecks, which is taxpayer funded, I think.
That was my point. Taxpayers are paying for it either way, right? They're on salary. So your tax dollars are still paying for these settlements.
Yeah.
But they
regardless.
should only have to pay once.
Well,
You
like
shouldn't have to have an extra penalty if your fucking congressman can't behave himself.
They should be throwing the fuck out of office.
Yeah.
No, yeah, well, you know what? We are anarchists here. None of their offices should even fucking exist to begin with.
Well, yeah,
Well, of course, but I mean, if it has to, or if it's going to.
Did you see the article about fucking Chris Matthews? Who was it? Hardball. What network does he fucking work for?
NBC,
they were trying to pay hush money to somebody that was bringing a case against him.
Yeah, they offered like 220,000 or something like that.
Wow.
Well, I think Chris Matthews touched me.
Twice.
I'll buy that for $1. No, but like Nietzsche said he put it so simply when he said that everything that the state says is a lie and everything it owns is stolen.
Yep.
You can't put it more simply than that, really.
Yeah, true.
And everybody who runs it, everybody who rises to these positions of power, I said this before and I'll say it again. Those positions, those seats of great power, they attract literally the worst fucking elements of society. The only way to achieve those positions is to be a ruthless, heartless, cold piece of fucking shit who does not care who they use, who they abuse, or who they step on to get there.
Nope.
Well, think about it.
That is the only way to get there.
What personality types are attracted to power?
Right. That guarantees that you get the worst people in society running society.
Yeah.
Yep. They're worried about three things.
It's inevitable.
That's what they're worried about: getting elected. They're worried about getting reelected. They're worried about their dollar.
Right. Society doesn't need anybody to fucking run it. Let it evolve and move and let it be organic, for God's fucking sake.
Society will correct itself, right? Just as the market will correct itself, society will correct itself.
But didn't society fucking make things operate how it's currently operating?
Ignorance did.
In a way, yes, because people, I don't know, I think it's kind of human nature for us to kind of have like systems of operation. Because we're kind of like, even if things are disorderly, we try to make order of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's like we can't live in that state of like fucking chaos for too long because it's totally disorienting. I mean, you can live on the border of order and chaos, but it's like, at what point do you go into absolute chaos and you're like, completely disoriented by it where you can't even function?
Right.
You know what I mean? You're going to have to bring it back to an equilibrium at some point.
Right. People don't have any trust.
Well, they have that too.
In natural order. Because people have been lied to for so long. And in so many different ways, religion, government, all these things, teaching people there has to be a guiding hand or shit will just fucking fall to chaos and human beings will just, be fucking food for the wolves. You know what I mean? People have been taught so many different ways that there has to be a guiding hand.
Well, that's what I mean.
People don't even fucking question it.
When you say organically things should come together, like I said, that even if it's bred out of a state of chaos, humans will eventually find an equilibrium and bring order to it, because that's kind of how our programming, within the core of our being is.
Order.
Yeah.
People want stability. They want predictability. They want, to be able to foresee a future for their children that's at least as good as the life that they've lived.
People are not willing to make that transition because they see the state and the way that we live as an orderly society, and they don't want to make that transition into chaos so that they can birth something organically that's even better out of that.
It's the greatest lie ever told is that government creates order. And that's what people truly
in a way
believe.
It does, but it's not the kind of order that you want. It's not voluntary order.
It's not order, it's obedience.
I think that the scales fall on chaos. Government creates chaos.
Well, yeah,
Governments
because they
wage
need that to
war.
exist. They need that to be like the diametric opposite in the minds of the people, that they're the ones that create order, but they create the chaos in order to give themselves a fucking justification for existing.
Right, but even what they do, like war, is fucking chaos. The war on
Absolutely, it is.
It's fucking chaos. They are destruction. They are death, and they are fucking chaos. And they have told us that that is them trying to create order.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fucking work that way. That's not what it is.
Not at
Are
all.
you taking it off on?
Yeah, babe, I gotta go.
Okay. Give me a kiss.
Night,
Have a good night,
Kev.
bro.
Night, Kev. Thanks
You
for hanging
guys
out,
have
man.
a good night.
All right. Crystal says ignorance and fear, generations of manipulation. Humanity doesn't know any different. They don't even realize that something is wrong.
Yep.
Well, no, but if they do, I think a lot more people are realizing that there's something wrong. They just don't know where to pinpoint the root of it.
Yes.
Well, that's where flat earthers come from. The ones that know something.
It's a
They
grand
just don't know
conspiracy, guys.
Yeah.
Because if the Earth's a globe, then what the fuck does that matter? What difference does that make if it's a globe or it's fucking flat? We're still being fucked. We're still tax farm slaves. It doesn't change the paradigm.
That's where I fall on a lot of those conspiracy theories, Dan, is like flat Earth, reptiles, et cetera, et cetera. It's like it's not going to affect how I feel. It's not going to change the way I live my life. I know the government sucks. I know that it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I know that it's a lie. I know that's an usurpation upon my freedom. And it's like knowing that the Earth is flat, knowing that the government lied about it. It's not gonna change the way I live my life.
Exactly.
Nope.
Not only that, it's like it's just a little rabbit hole, a little cul-de-sac that gets sucked down into and distracted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not focusing on the real fucking
No,
problems.
man, you know what I mean. It matters because they're lying.
They're lying about pretty much everything.
Right.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Take your fucking pick, right?
Right?
If you know that they're lying, then why the fuck are you still supporting them on everything else?
Yeah, right.
No one cares.
Well, guys, remember your vote matters.
Oh, it totally freaking matters. It matters. It matters so much. I'm gonna vote twice as hard next time, you guys.
Me too.
I'm gonna pop 2 Viagra and walk into that booth.
Well, how do you vote harder than not voting? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Not
Ben
voting is a vote.
Ben Stone had a really good quote earlier, guys. He said, don't believe the opera. Don't be fooled by the overacting or elaborate costumes. If Trump were a threat to the FBI or any alphabet agency, he would already be dead.
Yeah.
The body slams are fake. The punches are fake. It's all entertainment to keep you distracted.
Interesting take.
I can't say he's wrong. I can't argue against the statement at all.
No.
It's all fake. We all know that the people that truly run things will never be elected. Their names will never appear on a ballot.
No, but do you think that they haven't killed him because of the fact that it would be too obvious if they did?
Fuck no. The guy eats fast food every fucking day. They could fake a heart attack.
And they haven't killed him because he's not a fucking threat. He's
No.
the position of president of the United States
There's-
is essentially fucking impotent.
Oh,
There's-
of course
there's-
it
Very
is.
little.
There's how many terrorist organizations? There's how many foreign governments that would love to kill a sitting U.S. president? They could blow up Air Force One and say, "Oh, it was the Iranians," and then like next week we're bombing Iran.
Yeah. Well, there's Black Ops contractors that do that kind of shit, like for regular work.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like
That's true.
That's what they do.
I have no comment about that. I'm just gonna
Like, dude, check this out. I found this out, right? I don't know if you guys know this about Oklahoma City. But this guy, I guess he was a Black Ops contractor, and he was talking to a radio program. And he said, essentially, he was given the offer to do the Oklahoma City bombing and plant the bombs inside the building or whatever. And the reason why they did that, why they blew up the Murrah building, was because there was files in there that pertained to all like a lot of the veterans that had gotten Gulf War syndrome, and about the depleted uranium that they were using in Iraq at the time. And a lot of the soldiers came back, and they had depleted uranium in their system, and they were having deformed children and all this stuff. It was like all their medical records. Not only that, but they also had
radiation poisoning. We're gonna call it Gulf War syndrome.
Yeah, exactly right. But no, well, the Gulf War syndrome came from the squalene that they had in the vaccines that they were giving them because of it was like some mass-produced, like really quick vaccine that they came out with because they said that Saddam had anthrax and they needed to give it to him or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, that ended up fucking a lot of them up. So there was medical records in there from that, and then there was records in there from, I believe it was, I want to say the FBI, pertaining to the drug running and arm smuggling that they were doing in Mena, Arkansas when Bill Clinton was governor.
Oh yeah.
Involving like the Reagan administration and whatnot, how they were trading cocaine and guns with the Contras down in Nicaragua.
Pablo and Reagan, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of those files were in that building too. So what they did was they blew that up to cover up, their crimes essentially, and then fucking, use that and flipped it around also at the same time because the whole Waco thing that was going on and like demonized people that were patriots.
For the younger kids, that's back when records were still on paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Like people filed. They kept paper records of everything and filed in cabinets back.
But that blew my mind, like that they had to send FBI agents in there because there was 2 bombs that didn't go off, so they had to get those bombs that were still active out of there and get the paperwork, the files that they wanted destroyed with those bombs out of there.
Yep. I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on because it's sitting on the shelf and it's all covered in dust. But that sounds an awful lot like on 9/11 when that plane hit the Pentagon, just like happened to hit the budget office.
Yeah, the accounting office.
The accounting office, right when there was a report kind of come out that said that the Pentagon had lost several $1 trillion.
Oh no, the day before, Donald Rumsfeld came out and said that the Pentagon lost $2.2 trillion.
Yep, and and that office just happened to get hit by a plane.
Yeah, and Building 7 just so happened to go down with like files in there pertaining to the Enron scandal that were going on.
Yep.
But never mind. Don't look at any of that.
Yeah, don't look at any of that. Don't think about that. Government is good. Government is good. Don't put your rose-colored glasses on.
Pay no attention to the men behind the curtain.
They live. Oh, fucking! Like I wish people I swear to God, you guys. I used to tell people all the time that if I could sit down and spend half an hour with every person, I think this world would be a lot better off.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I think a lot of getting through to people is just being non-combative and like just asking them questions, really, and like because that's kind of how I approach people in terms of like the whole voluntarism discussion. I just ask people questions, a series of questions, so to speak, and like I'll respond to their response or whatever. But usually it's more of an inquisitive nature than a combative one.
What's that do?
I want to add a caveat to what Jason said. If I could sit down with everybody in the world for a half an hour in which they had duct tape over their fucking mouths and they
just listen to me, cocksucker.
Yes. Sit down, shut up, fucking listen.
But going back to what Dan was just saying, I recorded with the Seeds of Liberties guys on Thursday.
Yep.
Dave and Jeremy were there, and I got to talk to Merrick Van Landingham.
Awesome.
Which was fucking badass, and that's what we did. We spent the entire episode talking about the exact thing that Dan just mentioned. That'll be coming out tomorrow. That was a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned that a lot in my time just discussing things with people.
Yeah, that's one of those like special podcasts that edit their shit before they put it out, right?
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Yeah. Speaking of editing, this Thursday I'll be on Liberty Under Attack with Shane Radcliffe,
Awesome.
interviewing Ben fucking Stone.
Awesome.
That's gonna be fun. I'm
You
excited.
lucky motherfucker.
I'm excited for that one. Like, I got goosebumps when Shane messaged me asking if I wanted to sit in on that one. It's like, yes, please.
Yeah, right.
Awesome.
Like fanboy shit.
Yes.
I can shake his hand for you at Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest, Jason.
Oh.
I told him I was giving him a handshake from you at Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time disagreeing.
He might remember that because he looked at me like I was a little weird.
What's that, Dan?
So,
No, I said I hate to treat people like prophets, so to speak. But like when somebody like just says shit that's like so like ultimate truth that you can't even like disagree with them. It's like fuck, man. You know
I
what
look up to him. I look up to him, and I looked up to Merrick Von Landingham. I talked to last week. Like both those dudes are like
yeah,
a
Merrick's
hand.
cool, dude.
Yeah, having a beer with them or shaking their hands. Those are bucket list items. So speaking of government, lobbyists.
Before we talk about government, I gotta go, guys. My battery's dead.
All right,
All
Mark.
right, brother.
All right, I will catch you next time.
bye.
All right, brother. Peace out.
Peace out.
Oh, now we're just down to the talent portion of the show. We got
What you gonna do?
we got the pretty people and the button pusher.
We got the eye candy.
Yeah. So lobbyists are
I'm just
trying
here to
to
smoke
make
cigarettes and talk shit.
lobbyists are trying to make contact lenses more expensive by eliminating competition.
Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Wait,
Yep,
hold
this
on.
is-
Make them more expensive by eliminating competition. That will work.
Yes.
Okay.
This is from
Okay.
from rare.com. I love the website.
But that's like their actual aim, like they admitted.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
It's a sad
kinda
truism. It's a sad truism that healthcare costs are dictated not by the demands of the consumer in the free market, but by lobbyists in Washington, D.C. There's no greater example of anti-competitive taxes of crony capitalism than that in the eye care industry. Since the Fairness in Contact Lens Consumers Act, it passed in 2003, over 41 million U.S. consumers have had the right to receive their contact lens prescriptions from their optometrists. This enabled patients to shop for the best price of contacts instead of being forced to buy directly from the doctor. As a result, Walmart, Costco, and many online sellers were able to compete in the $7 billion contact lens industry, driving prices down dramatically. Unfortunately, these patient protections are now in jeopardy thanks to closed-door Senate process. Okay, here's what happened. The House Appropriations Committee, led by Appropriations Chairman Representative Rodney, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name because it will hurt my tongue, out of New Jersey. It's FRELINGHUYSEN.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah, Freeling-Huisen, whatever. Okay. And Financial Services Subcommittee Chairman Tom Graves, Republican of Georgia, expressed its support to a Federal Trade Commission rule that change supported by consumer groups that would require a signed document showing that optometrists are following the law or providing prescriptions to patients. This is necessary because a consumer action survey documented that nearly 30% of Americans are not receiving their eye prescriptions, despite its requirements by the 2003 congressional bill. So what this is saying is that the bill would require these places that sell contact lenses, in order to buy contact lenses, you would have to have a prescription. So you couldn't just buy them offline anymore. You would have to have an actual physical prescription with a doctor's signature. Is anybody else hearing that, or is it just me?
Yeah, no, I'm hearing it.
Okay.
It might be traffic near my house. Does it sound like traffic?
Bastards.
It's like a clicking noise. It's probably the NSA. What's up, NSA guy?
Go fuck yourself, NSA guy. Twice.
So yeah,
With a cactus.
I don't hear anything. Weird.
Yeah, I think it's coming from your end.
Yep, I think it is too.
Shit. Sorry.
Yeah, so with that whole thing, like, I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous because, like, I know how people have gotten like their prescription from the optometrist and then bought glasses, like ordered glasses online with that prescription. You know, knowing like what their eye, is, according to each eye, like, their prescription for their, vision or whatever, and they just order glasses online with it. But I don't know, that's weird.
It's stupid. I mean, they're.
I mean, that's blatant, cronyism right there.
It's absolutely cronyism. What they're trying to do is shrink the market so that they can get a bigger share of it.
Well, that's kind of like, the same thing goes for, having two political parties. It's easier to pay off two political parties than it is to have like 5 or 6.
True. Very true.
You know what I mean? It's like the more centralized you have shit, it's like the easier it is to control it, the easier it is to dominate it, the easier it is to pay it off.
Yeah,
and it's sad.
And
that's like why they want shit that way. It's like when you're decentralized, it's like it's harder to buy everybody off.
Yep. It's harder to control when you have more people to control.
Well, not only that, it's like if there's an issue, say, in a decentralized system, quote unquote, so to speak, you can even call it a system. Like I was saying to Derica about the, central banking scheme. If there is a central bank per country, it's easier to quarantine an issue if it becomes out of control within that country. You know what I mean? It doesn't go global.
Yeah, you can control the cash, you control the flow, you can control.
And, even the government does this. I mean, anybody who's held a security clearance knows about compartmentalization. And even people who haven't held it, will sometimes know about it. The government does the same thing. That's why they compartmentalize secret information.
Yeah.
Only people with the need to know in that specific program. It helps prevent the, catastrophic spread or dissemination of something sensitive.
Yeah, because they don't want everybody knowing the whole picture, so that way that you can't, convey that whole picture to somebody else.
Right. There's that. And then, even if you look at the way that seagoing ships are constructed, they're compartmentalized. There's watertight doors between compartments
like bulkheads
to prevent
and shit,
catastrophic fail.
Yeah.
I mean, even in our engineering, even in the very, all the things that we as humans build, we understand that spreading the stress out, that, compartmentalizing and putting in fail safes in between elements to prevent chain reactions is a good fucking thing. We know this everywhere except our fucking banking system.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell? Our governments and our banking system.
That right there is an argument against one world government, one world currency, one world banking system.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if it all fails, everybody goes down, not just, a handful of people in one part of the world.
Right. Yep.
Yep, fuck them. They're bastards. They're all bastards.
And, I'm not against... See, this kind of brings in the whole idea of the borders issue as well, because it's like I don't want government-controlled borders, but if the people that own the private property along those borders want to control that, whatever, that's on them.
Right.
If they want to band together voluntarily, I don't really see an issue with that. But at the same time, it's like if you just allow the doors to be wide open, it kind of you kind of end up with the same issue where you get say people coming from a South American country that have a type of tuberculosis that's not treatable with an antibiotic or whatever, and you bring that in and just say, okay, we're just going to leave the doors wide open, and you get an infectious disease that spreads and kills a whole bunch of fucking people just because you decided to let everybody just, go wherever the fuck they want. Not saying that you should control people's movement, but at the same time, it's like you have to take those things into account. That
but
it's
also,
not just a utopia and like everybody
right.
can just go where they want, and like, you know, that
But
there
here's
aren't
the
diseases that like
real,
other people haven't, like, you know, been assimilated to or whatever. You know, it's the same thing like when we came here and we fucking killed a lot of the Native Americans because they weren't, you know, you know, um, inoculated or, you know, immune to the diseases that we were bringing in at the time.
but here's what I think is the real mindfuck. Would there still be, at this point in human history, would there still be untreatable diseases that certain populations had never been exposed to if it weren't for governments isolating populations?
I don't know. It's
I
hard
have
to say.
I have to say,
because I think humans kind of congregate in groups as it is.
That's true. No, that's true. Mm-hmm. I know, but
because naturally, like we kind of do that without government.
True, but you also got to realize that without government, we would not have mass migration because you would not
people
have
would be fleeing shitty situations.
Well, not only that, but it's also engineered by governments as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you wouldn't have people fleeing Syria up into Europe and whatnot that we have now.
Because there wouldn't be a welfare system for them to take advantage of.
Because there wouldn't be a welfare system, and you wouldn't have you wouldn't have the government blowing up their homes right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword where they're like, oh, we're gonna blow up your fucking land, but you can come here and live off the welfare system while you fucking take our country down.
Without governments, right? Without governments, there wouldn't be refugees.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I don't even call them refugees because a lot of those people aren't even refugees.
Right. Well, but I mean, even the people who cross into the U.S. from Mexico, they're refugees of a sort.
I was speaking in terms of like Europe.
Right.
The people going into Europe and whatnot and taking advantage of that.
You certainly wouldn't have migration of that distance. I mean, there would be people maybe fleeing a natural disaster here and there, but they wouldn't go that fucking far.
Yeah, you're still going to have like aspects of tribal warfare. I mean, that's a reality of the situation. That's a reality of people and them congregating with their tribes, whatnot.
Yeah, people.
It wouldn't be anything like it is now. You wouldn't have them fighting. You wouldn't have them fighting to control the government.
Well, not only that, but I think government kind of inflames that tribal warfare as well because it's like you're allowed to wage it on a
did we lose Dan?
More message. Oh. No, I'm still here.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, you wouldn't be able to wage it on such a massive scale as they do with the government and the fucking standing armies and, people aiming fucking nuclear bombs at each other and shit.
Yeah, nuclear bombs, that's not something that I think would even have been dreamt up and developed if it weren't for fucking governments.
Exactly.
I mean, these huge destructive weapons that governments use to try to fucking kill each other. None of that shit would even exist without.
No. Project Manhattan would never have happened. Lockheed Martin would never have happened. General Electric would be like 1/100th of the size it is now.
Yeah, exactly. No. Well, because they allow those monopolies, and that goes back to exactly what you were saying, is that like it's good for business for them to foster those monopolies. Yeah. Because they get kickbacks from those people.
Big corporations will take advantage of it.
Well,
big business will take advantage.
I don't know if you guys know this, but H.G. Wells was one of the people that argued this, and he was I guess you would say a neo-Marxist, or he was on the left, so to speak, right? He was down with like the whole Fabian socialist crew of like Aldous Huxley and Orwell and all those guys. So anyway, his idea was, well, if you want to spread socialism globally, the only way that you're going to do it, the only vehicle that's going to get that done is through corporatism. And that's what brought about globalism. And that's essentially global socialism. And that was the agenda of the original communist socialists, was to spread it internationally.
Can you imagine the triggering of American commies if they knew that corporatism was the fucking driving force?
Well, think about it, dude. And I argued this with communists before, because think about it. What do most corporations, big corporations, get? They get subsidies through taxpayer dollars, which is essentially socialism.
Yeah.
Yep. Subsidies and tax breaks.
But you say that to a commie and their fucking head explodes. They're like, that's not socialism. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is it then?
Right.
Like,
corporate welfare.
I'm pretty sure that's
Same
the
fucking
definition of
thing.
socialism is if you're fucking using taxpayer dollars to fund a fucking project
Yep.
or a company.
Yep.
Yeah.
Corporations, farmers, ranchers, they all get fucking corporate socialism.
Well, yeah, absolutely they do, because it's like it's easier to subsidize them and like keep them under control, so to speak, than to let them operate independently.
Yeah.
To let the market self-correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you got stories of farmers dumping, 100,000 pounds of cranberries on the side of the road
Because of government regulations.
because of government regulations.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Oh, that's stupid.
Farmers burning entire like fucking fields and fields and fields of corn and wheat because they grew too much, and the government won't let them flood the market with it and bring prices down
because the
price
prices.
controls. Yeah.
Yep. That's stupid. Fuck government. Speaking of government, I got two more articles, you guys, and then I guess we'll end it. But I got both of them coming out of Denver. I don't know what the fuck's up in Denver.
Yeah, there's some weird shit going on in Colorado lately.
Yep. Suburban Denver deputy snaps man's middle finger after he flipped lawman off, the lawsuit says.
Wow.
A man admits that he flipped
from that fucking menacing middle finger.
A man admits that he flipped off an Adams County deputy, but he claims that didn't give the lawman the right to intentionally break his middle finger in retaliation.
It absolutely didn't.
Jeffrey Woodfork has sued Adams County Sheriff's Deputy Travis Wilson, accusing him of excessive force, and several Adams County Jail nurses and their employer, Corizon Health Incorporated of Tennessee, claiming that the nurses didn't treat his finger and it healed in a permanently malformed position.
Wow.
Denver attorney Raymond Bryant filed the lawsuit Tuesday on Woodfork's behalf in the U.S. District Court in Denver. Woodfork is seeking compensation and punitive damages, including permanent impairment. Okay, on December 12th, 2015, Wilson jumped out of an unmarked vehicle and pointed a gun at Woodfork as he was crossing a street. At the same time, a woman who was with him took off running, the lawsuit says. When Wilson asked Woodfork the woman's name, he called the deputy an obscenity and raised his middle finger, the lawsuit says. Wilson handcuffed Woodfork and then grabbed his middle finger, twisted and yanked it until it snapped.
Oh.
Over the next 8 weeks, Woodfork repeatedly told nurses he believes his red, swollen, malformed middle finger was broken. Finally, Woodfork was taken to Denver Health Medical Center where the doctor confirmed he had a broken finger and that it had healed in a malformed position. So, before we even start anything else, flipping the cops off is a constitutionally protected right. That is per SCOTUS, and they have said that on several occasions.
Yeah, it's free speech, right?
Yes, it is free speech.
I usually
you can
just
move your own body any fucking way you want to move your own fucking body.
I usually give people a thumbs up or I clap when they're being dickheads when they're driving. It actually tends to piss them off more than fucking flipping them off. But like seriously, like
I should start giving people the thumbs up.
Oh, dude!
Good job, dickhead.
Yeah, like
thumbs up, and a shitty smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Slink was even saying that. He was like, dude, he's like, I do the thumbs up too. He's like, no shit. He's like, I thought I was the only one. I was like, nah, dude. I was like, I give the thumbs up all the time. I was like, when somebody does something fucking retarded, I'm like, and they're fucking like, you asshole. I fucking hate you.
Yeah, so the cop, in a fit of rage, grabbed the guy's finger and broke it. And then he spent the next 8 weeks in jail before he finally got to see a doctor. And the doctor's like, oh, well, yeah, it was broke. And it healed in a malformation.
Jesus.
So can't he bring like a medical malpractice suit against them?
Well, medical malpractice would be against the doctor, not against the cop.
Well, no, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Of the nurses?
Yeah.
Oh, the nurses. Yeah, the nurses are part of the lawsuit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but
No.
on the cop end, he could, that's assault, battery, whatever.
Oh,
But good luck
he'll
suing
never.
government employees.
I guarantee you, he will never see the inside of a jail cell, and he will never face a criminal complaint.
Nope.
Who, the cop?
Yeah, the cop won't.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. We all know
That's why you have to bring civil suits against those assholes.
Yeah.
It's like the last and only option most people have.
No.
It's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Yep, broke his finger because he got flipped off. Yay, America!
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this, but if you do get a chance, look this up. I guess a guy not to like get too off topic, but it is law enforcement involved, so to speak. This guy, and it pertains to the Bundys and the Hammonds there. He worked for the BLM, Bureau of Land Management. I'm sure you guys know that.
Oh, you're talking about dipshit, the guy that was in charge at Bundy Ranch.
No, I don't know.
No,
he was a BLM whistleblower, and he just came out the other day.
He was he got. I know you're talking about, and you are talking about the guy that was in charge. He was the agent in charge at Bundy Ranch.
Okay.
Lane or something like that is his name. Dan, I think it's Dan Lane. He got fired by BLM for stealing artifacts and giving artifacts away as Christmas presents.
Huh.
Right. He came out as a whistleblower against BLM in the Bundy case because he's pissed off at BLM for firing him.
Huh. But still,
Yes.
he released some pretty interesting information in terms of them having a hit list.
A hit list.
And,
they had an actual hit list, an actual
Yeah.
Ruby Ridge style hit list.
Yep.
And he has documentation of it.
Yep. Yeah, this is an example of bureaucracy gone out of control because they make their own rules and
But that's bureaucracy functioning exactly how it's supposed to function.
This is
That's what
true.
people don't
This is true.
understand. That's exactly how it functions. Some people get extra rights, and you are their victim whenever they fucking choose to make you their victim.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that's it. You have zero right. You have no recourse.
But that speaks to what you were talking about. I didn't know that whole backstory, but that's interesting that you brought that up, and I'm glad you did.
Look up his name.
Yeah, and he kind of brought up the fact that things have gotten inverted in terms of people that are civil servants understanding their role in society and being the servant and not the chief authority, so to speak, because they're not there. I mean, in their mind, they're there to be the chief authority on matters, but really they're there to serve the public in
Ostensibly.
Right? Yeah. I mean, under documentation,
right,
so to speak, that's what their job is.
The mission statement here.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been so perverted and blown out of proportion that they fucking abuse the role that they're given, and put themselves above the law, which is fucking sad.
Oh yeah, if they were truly by the law and truly by the Constitution, they wouldn't have management of any lands in the U.S. at all, except for the 4 ports and 10 square miles.
Well, not at all. Yeah, exactly. That goes under the enclave clause.
Uh-huh.
But
as it is,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, as it is now, the U.S. government claims ownership or management over 55% of the western U.S.
Oh yeah,
81% of the state of Nevada is under federal control.
Yep. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And that's totally against the enclave clause because they're not allowed to own anything outside of, property that government buildings are on or military bases or anything like that.
Right.
Yep. Forts, ports, and the 10 square miles. I know that's not the technical term, but that's basically what it means.
Yeah, exactly. So back to what you were saying about this cop abusing his fucking authority. It's you know what I mean? It's almost like it doesn't even shock me anymore that these people have come to think that it's the norm to abuse their position of power.
Right.
It is the norm. It is their norm because it is the thin blue line. right? It gives credence to the fact that they are a gang, they act as a gang, or a mafia, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it very much becomes us against them, right? They're not public servants. They are law enforcement.
Yeah, and they view it as a battlefield.
They have no duty to protect the individual anymore. That is constitutionally supported like 7 or 8 or 9 times over.
Yeah, through the Supreme Court.
No obligation to protect you.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. They are law enforcement. They are the enforcement branch of the federal government.
Yep.
And the state governments and local governments. They are the ones that are truly oppressing people, not Trump. Trump doesn't oppress anybody, right? Paul Ryan doesn't oppress anybody. Jerry Brown, my governor here, he doesn't oppress anybody. It's the cops that are enforcing those laws.
Yep.
Those are the true usurpers of our freedom. And those are the people that are truly tyrannical. But we worship them because we are indoctrinated and taught to worship our protectors, because they protect and serve us.
Well, they are.
But they don't protect us.
We have been taught that they are the embodiment of the will of the people.
Yeah.
Which is complete bullshit, because like everybody but the sheriff is hired.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
The sheriff is elected. Everybody else is a hired employee.
Even elected officials are not the fucking embodiment of the will of the people. They're the will of some people.
Yeah, the majority.
Yeah, 51% ruling the whole.
Yeah.
Well, that's always been my argument against, there's certain things that you could do direct democracy style, like, say voting on marijuana legalization in your area or something like that, on a small scale. But when it becomes on too great of a scale, direct democracy can be extremely fucking destructive, because you get, a majority of idiots that want to decide one thing and the minority doesn't want it. They become subject to that.
Yeah,
and there's no fucking thing you can do about it.
Yeah, the last national election, more people did not vote than voted for Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. Or voted for anybody.
Or voted for Clinton, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody won the last election.
Yeah, exactly.
Because more people didn't fucking vote at all.
Yeah.
Now, see, the thing, like, I think that if you had, like, a direct democratized vote for, like, things like maybe war, you'd see exactly. I think that, like, things like that might be a good idea if you put that up to, like, a direct democracy vote. Because those are the people's that's fucking sons and daughters are going to go and die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, you guys remember right after 9/11, though?
That's true, too.
All they have to do is manufacture some huge fucking false flag, and everybody will get fired up. People are fucking ignorant.
That is true.
Operation Northwoods. Operation Northwoods. Just go look that up.
But see, I think that they kind of went too big on 9/11 to the point where there's so many people that are skeptical anymore that even if they don't believe, say 9/11 was an inside job or whatever,
even
that they're looking out for it, kind of, you know what I mean? Because they're like, okay, well, what kind of bullshit is the United States? Well, not only that, but after that, they did the whole thing with the yellow cake uranium deal, with Iraq, and everybody knows that was a fucking lie.
Yeah. If there was one thing that I could change about humanity as a whole, it would be I would wish everybody would be more skeptical.
Yeah, without a doubt.
If I could make all humans more skeptical, that's the one thing I would do. People are too fucking credible. They are too gullible. They're too easily fucking led. And that's where we get all these fucking problems from.
Yep. Well, if you say gullible slow enough, it sounds like sheep buying.
Yep. Gullible.
All right. I got one more, you guys, and then.
But they're not even gullibles. They're gullicalves. They're not even grown up yet.
The gullah sheep.
Yep.
All right. Oh, Jerica took off. She's gonna like this one.
I think she was talking to Declan or somebody.
Yeah, I'm still here. I don't want you guys to hear this. Give me a second.
All right. Yeah, 13 marijuana dispensaries employees arrested in Denver undercover sting.
Really?
Oh, just you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Okay. More than a dozen people from several marijuana dispensaries in Denver were arrested earlier this week. Police say employees at 8 sweet leaf dispensaries in the Denver area were selling more than the legal limit of marijuana to undercover officers during a year-long investigation of the retail locations. Police executed multiple search and arrest warrants during the raids at the Denver area dispensaries Thursday morning. 13 people were arrested, and the Sweet Leaf locations targeted in the operation had their licenses pulled and remained closed. Purchasing more than the legal limit is a term the industry calls looping. It's when a buyer goes into a dispensary, buys the maximum permissible amount of 28 grams, drops the weed off, and then returns to the dispensary to purchase more. States allow the possession, use, display, purchase, and transport of 1 ounce or less of marijuana. This year-long undercover operation involved officers posing as customers at the 8 dispensaries. According to an affidavit, the officers were allowed to purchase more than what is legally permitted on several occasions at the targeted Sweet Leaf locations. During one of the sting operations, an undercover officer was able to enter the same store several times in less than an hour and a half to buy pot. Okay, so what the cops did is they walked into a dispensary and bought the legal limit, 28 grams, 1 ounce.
Yep.
Left, came back, and bought 28 grams again.
In the same day?
In the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that is illegal under their law because they somehow count that as selling more than the legal limit.
Okay, but do they when they do transactions with people, do they have them write down, do they write down in a book, sold to so-and-so this many grams? Are they supposed to remember every fucking customer?
To my knowledge, there is no record like that at all.
That's what I'm saying. So it's if somebody comes in
Oregon don't keep records, you know.
You
just have to show your ID that you're 21, and that's it.
Yeah, nobody. It's like a regular
you could slip up and sell, more than the fucking legal limit to somebody if it's not on record.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
What if it's a different employee every time that you're talking?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my thing. It's they didn't sell more than the legal limit. They sold the 28 grams.
Yeah.
And then the cop left and came back and bought more again. Somehow that's the employee's responsibility to remember.
Yeah, right.
Who they sold to that day. What if
every face, and to know that there's not people who look a lot of fucking right.
I'm supposed to remember who I sold to at 9 a.m. as opposed to who I sell 10 minutes before closing.
Exactly.
So total fucking bullshit entrapment, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely it is. Because it's they're gaming their own system to fucking see what they can get away with and fuck these people on.
That's exactly what they're doing, because they haven't. They've spent their whole fucking careers up to this point fighting a war against this plant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the people who use it and sell it and, exchange it. And they can't fucking let it go. They're still psychologically attached to the idea that drugs are bad and play.
Yep. Not chasing murderers, not chasing rapists, not chasing burglars or assault or robbers.
Right.
Well, that would actually put them in real danger.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
And
I'm sure every ounce or every gram that they bought was totally recorded. It's absolutely on the dot.
Oh, I'm sure.
They bought what's recorded.
Sure.
And what a fucking waste too. If you're gonna go and buy that much pot and not smoke it, you should have your hands chopped off. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah. And second to that, it was a
there are people that need that for medicine, you asshole.
For real.
And it was a year-long investigation. A year-long investigation.
Did it take them a whole year
in
to
8
fucking
stores?
bust these people?
Eight stores a year long to arrest 13 people.
Jeez.
13 retail employees, not the managers, not the suppliers, nothing like that. The people that were working the freaking registers.
No, I wonder how...
That's like going into McDonald's and arresting the person taking your order.
Yeah,
I have a feeling this is going to be a monumental waste of taxpayer resources, other than
I was just going to say that
reason, because I have a real feeling that these employees are going to fucking spank the cops in court. Their lawyers are going to fucking...
Oh, the jury.
I didn't even think about that.
I want to sit on that jury. I want to sit on that jury so bad.
I was just thinking in terms of like how much taxpayer money did they spend on buying all this weed that they didn't smoke? Because that's what pisses me off.
No, I know. I know. That too, but like what I'm saying
that's really irking me right now.
What I'm saying is, even if you believe in what the cops were doing, it's still a fucking waste of resources, because it's not going to stick.
Totally is. Yeah.
Any lawyer worth their salt is going to get these people off, because because like you were saying, how is it the employee's responsibility to remember every single fucking face that comes through that door that day, and make sure that it's different than yesterday, that they only sold it to this one person once every single day? I mean, like, that is not the fucking employee. That's an unreasonable expectation for a fucking...
That's a very unreasonable expectation. Absolutely.
And these dispensaries are fucking busy, man. You should have seen my sister's place. I was in there just looking around, because, like, you know, I'm from out of town, and her employees hadn't seen me in years and years. I mean, I knew them, but, you know, I was in there just watching things for a little bit, just to see how it was all going. And seriously, her door, I don't even know why they bothered closing. Why they didn't just fucking prop it open to save the wear and tear on the hinges. Because fucking, there were never less than 10 people standing around that counter, and it's a tiny room.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little like craftsman cottage that my sister's business is set up in. And, you know, and I mean, it was just packed, non-fucking stop.
Yeah, and you're not really going to remember people unless they're like a constant regular.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then by then, like, you know people by name and shit, and it's like...
Yeah.
You know, because I used to work in, like, you know, like, right after I got out of high school, I worked at Hess gas station. Like, there were certain customers, like, I knew, because they would come in there, like, the same time every fucking day for the same thing.
Right.
If it was cigarettes...
and a cup of coffee.
Exactly. If it was cigarettes, I already had their shit on the counter, and they were like, dude, I fucking love you. I don't even have to ask you for my cigarettes, because you already know.
Same when I was working fast food in high school. Like, there's people that would come in at the same time every day, get the same thing, and you would see them standing in line, and you'd go start a fresh pot of coffee for them. Like, you knew that's what they were going to order, and you'd go start a fresh pot of coffee so that they wouldn't have to wait.
Yep,
like, you recognize these people, but an undercover cop, I mean, come on, you guys.
Yeah, seriously.
Like you're gonna bust people for legally selling cannabis when there are rapists and murderers and car thieves and robbers, and it's just untested fucking rape kits, and they're spending money on busting people for cannabis.
Busting retail employees.
Busting retail employees.
Their fucking faces. That's what it is. They're busting retail employees for not remembering their
fucking faces. Yeah.
Well, they could be doing, you know, way better shit with their time, like, you know, fucking penalizing people for leaving their keys in their car and shit. And like having minors fucking steal their car and shit.
Taking blankets away from the homeless.
Yep, cutting up their tents. It is that time of the year for them to go do it.
Yeah.
Who, the cops?
Yeah. They do that. They're famous for that in Denver.
Oh yeah.
Like right as winter is starting to close in, they're really
good. That a lot in Portland too.
They're really, really good at raiding homeless encampments.
Yep.
Stealing their blankets, cutting up their tents, and forcing them into shelters because they have nothing to keep them warm and dry anymore.
What do you do when the shelters are overpacked?
How do these people sleep at night? How do these fucking cops themselves?
That's the thing. They're not moral agents. They're not moral agents at all. They think that they are doing what is right. They're just doing their jobs.
I know.
The same way that the fucking Nazis slept at night. They slept well.
Well, they're convinced. You know, it's like that the whole thing. It's like a self-reinforcing bullshit where you think you're the fucking good guy, because you've been indoctrinated to believe that that's, you know, doing justice or whatever, but you're fucking really just an asshole with a badge.
Like I almost prefer them to be shooting dogs rather than busting retail employees.
That's a tough one, man. I'd almost rather them shoot dogs.
My lesser of two evils.
Right.
If I had to flip a Bitcoin.
Right.
That's an expensive Bitcoin, I'm just saying.
Yeah, word.
I like that. I like that.
Bitcoin's cool, but you can't roll it up and start coke through it.
This is true. And not only that, this brings me way back to the beginning when we were just about to go live and I was about to bring this up to you guys. I don't know if you guys heard about this well, not only that Janet Yellen came out and she was like bugging about the whole fucking Bitcoin thing, and she's the head chair of the Federal Reserve for people that are watching that don't know.
The one person watching.
Yeah, and not only that, but like, you know, the dollar isn't going to be the reserve currency for much longer. They're going to start allowing, I think maybe the IMF, but they're going to start allowing oil to be traded in yuan and rubles and whatever the Iranian currency is. And it's all going to be able to, you can take the ruble, the yuan, and all those and exchange them for actual physical gold. So the fact that you can actually exchange those for physical gold is far superior to anything that the fucking United States has to offer, because the dollar isn't backed by anything other than the fact that they force the rest of the world to sell their oil in it.
Yep.
So I mean, that's the that's the final nail in the coffin for the petrodollar right there.
Yep. I am so looking forward to the impending economic collapse. I'm telling you. So.
Well, maybe China has a better future in store for all of us. Oh, Christ.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm planting my orchard and I'm planting my garden and I'm getting my chickens and we've got our land and we'll be all right.
Yep.
Well, just think of it this way. If China really was focused on military domination, they probably could take over the fucking world with the population that they have.
Yeah, maybe.
I think
population is like half their population is severely malnourished.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you have to figure that, you know, given time, they're going to get a lot of those people out of the poverty situations, because the middle class has gone from like, I think it was like 5% to like 34% in like the past like 15 years or something like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they've capitalized. They've introduced elements of capitalism to their system. So yeah, of course, people are starting to thrive.
In terms of like market openness, I think that China might actually be more open market, free market than fucking the United States actually is, in terms of like,
for sure, yeah.
In terms of like interventionism and things like that. But which is fucking strange, because it's like you have a communist fucking top-down controlled system, but yet they're more, you know, flexible in terms of like being able to be free market.
Well, yeah, like, North Korea has one of the best functioning black markets on the planet, and they're like the worst dictatorship on the planet also.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, man.
Well, they have one of the most thriving black markets because they're one of
the
in spite of it, yeah, not because of it, but yeah, I mean that's also the same thing probably with China as well, as that they have a thriving black market because of, in spite of top-down control of the economy. But
well, it's a reaction. The bigger the government is, the bigger the black market becomes.
Yeah, because it's like a response to the things that aren't provided, essentially.
Right. Or the things that are intolerably controlled.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to California finally selling pot legally, and the 22% tax on it.
Wow.
Because the black market's going to be very lovely.
Yeah. Right.
Lots of good weed, and I don't have to pay 22%.
Well, that's the great thing, is that like that kind of like they kind of like dovetail together. Is that like, even if you do make it legal, so to speak, taxable, there's still going to be that black market element. It's going to be there to provide the tax-free fucking weed
Because
You know what I mean?
taxation is theft, and it's
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
expensive.
Meanwhile,
It's fucking expensive. If you buy $100 worth, it's going to be $122.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Come on.
Meanwhile, I live in a state where they'll still throw epileptics in prison for using it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Land of the free, home of the brave.
Yep, and epileptics can get off with time served if they have intractable epilepsy. The fatal kind. If they have the fatal kind, they can get off with an affirmative defense.
That's fucking
for
retarded.
time served.
God, I
See,
hate government.
That's the double-edged sword of. Before we wrap it up, that's like the double-edged sword of like states' rights, is that like you get the good and the bad, like, you know what I mean, like you get, you know, the possibility of having legalized marijuana, whatever, you know, some people are against that, whatever, but at least at least it's available then. Or you have the opposite end of the spectrum, which is what you're talking about in your state.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, if you have a complete top-down uniform system for everyone, which I don't think is a good thing, then it's like you either settle with the good or you settle with the bad. It's like you don't get a fucking choice. Because it's like with states' rights, like state to state, at least you can be like, okay, well, I don't like the fucking laws in this state. I'll move here to this fucking tax plantation. Because this one's a little bit more lenient on the things that I like.
Yeah. That plantation beats me less.
Yeah, right, exactly.
The grass is greener on the other side of the slave fence.
That's not grass, that's hemp.
The grass is better fertilized with, you know, better quality shit.
The wheat is greener on the other side of the Potomac, you guys.
All right. On that note, you guys, we better get off. We've been on 2 hours now. So, episode 23. We've made it this far. I don't know why.
Because we like talking to each other and fuck everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck the NSA guy.
They're just spectators to our fucking weird conversations.
Right. Our group therapy session every other week.
And I think that's what most people don't get about this is like, without the podcast, if we were like all in the same area, we would do this anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
We would just hang out and talk anyway because we love each other.
That's right.
Unlike the NSA.
We are family.
Oh, I love you guys.
Love you guys too. All right. Peace, guys.
Bye.
Good night.